Hi, Mandy here. I'm going to do a quick tutorial and show you how I made the little raindrops that I used on my mixed media page. Can't remember the title I put on it actually, but yeah, the first one I did in the new journal I got from Karen. So yeah, I'm going to list off the list of ingredients first to show you what you're going to need. So to start with, I use a craft sheet. This is actually an oven liner, but it's similar to the craft sheets that are on the market. And what I've done is I've laid it down on a craft mat. So the reason why I've done that is that when I've finished making my rain dots, I will be able to lift this off and continue working on my surface and set it aside to dry somewhere else. So hopefully I won't plonk something down on top of it. Yeah, so that's basically the basis of what we need. Secondly, we need a small mixing tray, a little bowl, little container. I have these little pie dishes and we need that to mix our glossy accents with our colour medium. Next thing we need is you can either use a coffee stirrer or a cocktail stick. I use both, as you can see. These are previously made rain dots. I have my retractable poking tool, which is very grubby but it's well loved. I have a paintbrush. I don't use this, you don't need to worry about quality of bristles or anything like that. We're purely using this for the base, but you can use anything like the bases of a pen or pencil or whatever you have in your at hand. Next we're going to use to colour our raindrops is, let me see, the Smooch Spritz from Clear Snap, and I have one here in the colour Navy Twinkle and Sea Kiss, and the one I'm going to use today is Sea Kiss. I want this lighter colour blue. The navy is a lovely dark blue, so it'll be perfect for raindrops on if you're creating a really stormy scene. So I'm going to pop that aside. And I'm going to pull out my glossy accent. It doesn't have to be glossy accents, it can be any clear glass medium that dries in a kind of an epoxy finish. I haven't tried this with an epoxy resin yet, so I don't know if the two will combine. I will try that hopefully at some stage this week, but at the moment I'm just working with the one from Ranger. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to take my mixing dish, and I normally do this in small quantities because the more I do, by the time I actually get to use what's in the tray, it'll start to set. So I do it in small batches, and that way I can discard the tray, pick another one and go again. And I also get kind of a one colour tone. If I go make a second batch, I never seem to get the shading right. It's like mixing paint. If you mix white in with blue paint and you create a pale blue, you're never going to get that shade exactly again if you need to make up a second batch. So similar to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze in, it's about just over a teaspoon. No technical measures here, I don't do technical measurements, it's all done by eye. I'm going to remove the cap on my Smooch Spritz, which is actually running out, and again this is Sea Kiss. So I'm just going to twist that off, and I'm going to drop in about 3 or 4 drops of this in on top of the glossy accents. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and there's a lovely shimmer in these sprays, so you get a nice lovely pearlite shimmery finish off your raindrops. Okay, and now I'm dropping everything all over the place. Just make sure you put your cap on properly, otherwise you're going to have it all over your desk, which I have done before. Okay, we'll wipe up that blob. So all we're going to do, can you see that there? We're just going to give that a good old mix with a cocktail stick, a very technical piece of equipment. Okay, just get that all blended together nicely. I've actually made very little, but what we can do is you can go back in and we're going to mix like baking without the pressure and worry of burning something in the oven. I find this a lot easier. So just keep mixing and adding either your colour or your glossy accents until you get the shade and the consistency you want. You can see that lovely pearlized effect. Absolutely gorgeous, kind of iridescent. It's got a tint of green off it. I love this stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it into the corner of the tray. So you can either use your coffee stirrer or your cocktail stick at this stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up a little tiny blob on the end of the coffee stirrer, and I'm going to drop it down, leave it for a couple of seconds until it gets the shape, and by shape I mean until it's spread out as much as it's going to spread, and then just flick upwards. Okay, and you see that? What I'll do is I'll do a few more and then I'll zoom the camera in. So, a little blob of that, let it settle, and then just drag it upwards. And you can always go back in and give it a little wiggle and get it to the shape that you want. You don't have to do raindrops with this. You can create your own alphabets, you can create your own flowers, you can any shape or pattern that your mind can conjure up. You're literally going to draw on your craft mat with it. So another little blob, and place that down and drag that up. And the reason why I'm working on the craft mat is that when these little drops dry, all I have to do is take a craft knife, slide it underneath, and they'll pop right off because it's non-stick. Okay, a little bit more. I might do a little bit of a bigger one here. You can always go back in if you're not happy with the amount you've put down first. You can always layer on top of it. But if you're going to do any layering, you need to do it while it's wet. If you've let it dry in any way, you'll get a two-tiered effect, so it'll start to look like layers rather than one piece. Okay, it's a little bit of a wonky one, but I'm going on the assumption that no two raindrops are the same like snowflakes. So put a little bit more of that down. Okay, and what I might do with this one, I'll come in with the cocktail stick and get more of a point. Okay, and that's it. You just throw those down. Well, I won't throw them, I'll place them. I'm just going to lift the camera now, so I'm sorry if there's any shaking, because I'm just going to, I haven't figured out how to zoom yet. Well, I have, but it doesn't work for me. So this is what you should have. Okay, I'm going to set that down so I can keep it steady. And that's what you're going for, so you can make as many or as little as you want. All you need to do is put them somewhere where you're not going to have a cat jump on them, or kids touch them, or even yourself drop something crafty on top of them. Put them aside, let them dry. The usual for glossy accents, it normally takes, depending on how much you put down, anything up to an hour onwards. So yeah, so if you make these or something similar using the method that I've just used, please share it down below. I'd love to see it, I really would. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. So happy raindrop making, and I will speak and catch up with you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.